Hey, thanks for stopping by. This is Tom, and this is Tom's Raven Show. And what I'm going to show you today, I did a review of this Kaito KA29 a couple of shows ago. I really liked the radio, but when I was doing the review, the display and the information on the display looked very familiar. And so I went through my radios, and sure enough, what it looks like, similar to the Grundig G2, let me turn this off, G2 radio that I reviewed about a year ago. I did a extensive testing on this radio. I have a playlist of about 10 videos if you want to go back and watch them on this radio. So what I wanted to do this morning is kind of show you some similarities and differences. I'm not going to go through everything because it would take a half an hour or so because I ramble so much. Just some of the things. Now, the obvious thing is the Grundig is much larger. It has a bigger display, has two speakers instead of one. The keypad layout is similar. The area down here is very similar to the Kaito, and then it's got buttons up on the top where the Kaito has the buttons on the side. Yet they both have similar functions: AM, FM, shortwave, MP3 player. The Kaito, I think, is continuous tune on all the bands, especially the shortwave band. The Kaito jumps. It's not continuous tune, so it doesn't have the full spectrum of the shortwave band. The Grundig G2 also is similar to a DGen 1128. Right now, the price range, if you go look at the prices of these two radios on Amazon, and then I'll talk about eBay in a second, this is about $55. This is $35. So a $20 difference for the additional features, like the dual speakers and bigger display and stuff like that. I think they have the identical battery, which is a cell phone battery. I think they're identical. I didn't take them out and compare them, but I think they're identical. And this is the newer design, I'll say. This is several years old, and it just came out at least in the United States, within the past 3 or 4 months. They both have little micro SD card slots for listening to MP3 music or recordings, reading text to some degree, and recording when you want to record off of the radio. This one, the Kaito, has a full-size USB port for using this kind of memory device, which is very popular. Kind of old technology, but it still works very well. And there you can store you can have MP3 files, text files, or use this to store your recordings. It doesn't have any internal memory. I believe the Grundig has some internal memory. I think it might be as much as 4 gigs. I'd have to check on that, so don't hold me for that. What else? They both have auxiliary inputs so that you can have like an MP3 player and play on these speakers, these internal speakers, using the amplifier, and I believe using the recording capability. So if you want to transfer a file, or if you want to hook your shortwave radio to this and use the recording capability, I believe you can do that. I think they both have that same function. Now the displays are different. Not only is the G2 display larger, it provides additional information. And I'm going to try to show you that in a few minutes. Okay, then the other thing I want to do just briefly, and keep in mind I'm in my office. It's a terrible, excuse me, RF environment because I have about 6 computers running, monitors, router. It's really bad. The noise level is really bad, and that's why I typically don't try to do any testing using built-in antennas in this room. Although you might want to consider it worst case because it's got so much noise. So anyway, I'm going to do a little bit of testing, not much. So let's just try that quickly. So we're going to turn on this guy right here. And I found, earlier I found a station. It might be gone now. And it's at 4.84. Turn the volume up. And it's in there. But the RF noise is so bad that the signal on this radio can't get above it. I think if I touch the antenna, I get rid of the RF noise, but the signal goes away too. Okay, there it is right there. Very, very weak. So let's turn this off. Again, this is empirical testing, I call it. So, because so many variables here, it's impossible to reach any conclusion. But I'm going to show you anyway. So now we're going to turn the Grundig on. It's tuned to the same frequency, 4.84. There's that RF noise. But the signal level is much stronger. So it's trying to get above that noise. Now, the other thing on the displays, the Grundig, and I lost the backlight. If I can get to focus. The slide rule scale on the bottom has numeric scale there. It's got numbers on it. The Kaito just has the slide rule scale, but no numbers on it. You got the frequency above it, so you don't really need the numbers. The other thing is the Grundig. Oops, I lost the backlight again. The Grundig has an S meter, and as crude as it is, it does give you some indication. Now you can see that signal's coming in pretty good now. And the Kaito does not have an S meter at all. Let me turn it back on and see if it's coming in any stronger here. Maybe holding it to the... Yeah, maybe holding it up to the camera. It likes that position. And if I can say, if that RF noise wasn't there, you could probably hear the station pretty good. With that test of 1, it appears the Grundig is bringing in the station a little stronger. That's 1 frequency, so it's, not much of a test. Excuse me. I will be taking the Kaito to the field to do some field testing away from all this RF noise, or even try it down in my workshop, which is not quite as bad. So I will be doing that in the future and probably take the Grundig with me. Now again, right now, Amazon $54, Amazon $35. So keep that in mind. eBay has these, and I don't know what the deal is. eBay has these for $30 to $35. And it's a dealer, so they're new, theoretically. But one thing to keep in mind is to get your hands out of the way, is early production models of the Grundig G2 had a problem with the MP3 recorder. And it basically, I think, was the fact that the microprocessor was not fast enough and it couldn't keep up with the recording. So after a period of time, don't know what it was, a period of time, it started dropping the audio signal. And so you'd get dropouts in your recording. That was my weather station telling me temperature. It's going to be 85 again today. Oh, well. And I feel sorry for those people that are in that area of the country where all that bad weather is. I really feel sorry for them. Sorry. Things are so bad there. I shouldn't be complaining about warm weather. Okay, going on. So you have to be careful that maybe this company is selling those early production models. Now, if you're not interested in the MP3 player recorder, okay, don't worry about it. But keep that in mind. That might be why they're so cheap. Maybe it's the early production models. I have not had any problems like that on this radio. Again, I got this about a year ago from Amazon directly. Okay. I think that's basically the similarities and the differences. There's a lot of other ones. The antenna, I don't know if I mentioned, the antenna on the Grundig is about 24 inches. And on the Kaito, it's about 18 inches approximately. I didn't measure them. The Grundig, I like the Grundig. It's a little minor thing. To me, it's very important. It's a kickstand. It has a kickstand. The Kaito has no kickstand. So it's either totally vertical or totally horizontal. One thing I got to do is find me. I used to have a little kickstand for these size radios that didn't have a kickstand. It was actually a little stand, excuse me. You got to find it. I've lost it. I think I broke it. Got to find a new one, something that I could, set this on and have it sit at an angle, which is what I prefer. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I think that's about the major differences. They both use a cell phone battery. It's a rectangular, square little battery about that big. Very common battery, so they're easy to find. I think the batteries might even be identical in the two radios. I haven't checked. So anyway, these are both definitely good little shortwave radios. AM, FM, shortwave, MP3 player. The sound on the Grundig may be slightly better, but they're not. As long as you don't play them at full volume, they're pretty good on both. Again, two speakers versus one. So I think that's about it. So again, I'll be doing some more testing on the Kaito. And if you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up. It gives me an indication whether I'm doing shows that are of interest. I definitely don't want to waste your time. And I apologize for rambling. I tend to ramble quite a bit and don't get to the facts. So I apologize for that. So anyway, thanks for watching and have a happy new year. Bye-bye.